In this video, I want to talk to you about one of my favorite state parks in the state of California, and it's called Montaña de Oro State Park. It is located in the San Luis Obispo County, and it's one of those bigger parks. You'll find cliffs, canyons, plains, sandy beaches, trails. You'll also find trails for bikes and for horses. So it's just one of those parks that has a little bit of everything. But if you enjoy wildlife and if you enjoy more of nature, this is one of the best parks that you can go to. Now, we only spent a couple of days there and one night. We tried to squeeze in as much as we could, but we couldn't stay longer. So we're planning to come back and do the things that we missed because we didn't have enough time to do. Now, it's called Montaña de Oro not because of actual gold, but it's because, which translates to Gold Mountain, but because of the wildflowers that grow in that area that are beautiful, and that's where the name comes from. Now, if you're a backpacker or if you are somebody who enjoys nature, you will enjoy a little bit more these trails because they're not crowded at all. You know, if you look at videos at Zion's National Park, or if you see those popular trails that everyone talks about, you probably are following a crowd when you're hiking a trail. In this specific park, no matter what time of the day it is kind of hard to find people in the trail at the same time. And if you do, it's just a couple of people. It's not something that you will be following a crowd to get to, you know, the end of the trail. So that is something that I truly enjoy. I like to connect with nature when I am hiking. I like to listen to the silence, to the birds and everything. So if you are like me and you enjoy that, the trails in this park are especially beautiful, and I think you're going to enjoy. Now, they also have trails for horses. So if you want to take your horse with you, you can use those specific trails. And they also have trails for biking. So if you want to take your bike, it's beautiful. They have very long trails for bikes as well. So it's something that you can totally do in this park. Now, my favorite beach at this state park, it's called Schooners Cove, and it's right across the campground. So it's one of those beaches that you're not going to be able to swim because it has that steep end, and you really, I mean, you can't swim there. And of course there's a lot of currents, and it actually tells you in the signs that you'll see around the beach not to try to rescue anybody that goes in the water, because more than likely it's going to be worse. So it's just one of those beaches that you're not going to be able to swim in, but it's beautiful. It has beautiful landscaping for pictures, and it's just one of those areas that is pretty big, so you can walk the beach and you can take your dogs. It's the only beach in the state park where you can take your dog. So we did take the dogs. We really enjoy it. We sat down by the rocks and we just listened to the ocean, and it was such a peaceful and amazing experience, not only for me but for my kids and the dogs as well. Now, the park hours for the day use area is from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and the day use area is right by that beach. Now, in the day use area, you'll find restrooms, beach access, barbecues, and picnic tables. This is an area that it's a little bit low, so it's pretty close to the beach. So it's a beautiful area if you just want to go for a day and enjoy and kind of get to know a little bit more the park. Now, I haven't seen an area that is this close to the beach, a day use area in a state park that is close to the beach, so I thought that was pretty unique. And if you want to know how to get in for free to state parks, or it's not actually for free, but how to buy a pass where you can go into every single state park of California and all the benefits and how I use it for boondocking, I have that video on the top of the screen right now. Now, as far as camping, and it has one campground that is right across the street from that beach in particular, and I think it's called Islay Campground. I'll have the name on the screen right now. Now, you can only fit RVs that are not more or longer than 27 feet. So if you're longer, you're out of luck. There is not going to be room for you. But if you are 27 or smaller, they have specific areas where you can camp using your RV. Now, 8 people is the maximum that you can have in your campsite, but it's a pretty big area, so you're going to be able to spread around. It's not going to have that parking lot feeling. No, it's pretty big, and you'll have your own grassy area, very, you know, primitive, but it's a beautiful area that you're gonna have for yourself. And the camping spots, especially for RVs, they're not as close as the tent spots, so just keep that in mind. You'll have a little bit more room. You can also make reservations online for this campground, but if you can't find any, they always have some kind of first come first served. I think they have a few spots every single day, so if you are in the area and you really want to spend, you know, a couple of nights there or whatever time you want to spend there, I would recommend you to go and check those first come first served campsite. Now, to pay for your campsite, if you're going to do first come first served, they have a little area where you'll go pick the campsite that you want. You'll rip one part and put all the information, and they accept cash or checks, so no credit cards. If you have a credit card, you're out of luck. They're not going to have a way to take your payment, so you'll put everything in the envelope, you drop it in the box, and that's it. There is a campground host, but while we were there, he wasn't or the person wasn't in their campsite, so we just made a payment through the box. So it's primitive camping, and there is no hookups, there is no water, so it is boondocking or primitive camping. So they still have a few rules. For example, if you want quiet hours, they're gonna be from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That goes for TVs, music, just being loud itself. But if you want to use your generator, the only time that you will be able to use it is from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So keep those things in mind, and if you want to charge your batteries, you have to go through those specific times to do that. Now, there are some other kind of campgrounds, or not campground, but campsites. They're called environmental campsites. They are secluded, but campers should not be surprised to wake up to the yapping of coyotes. So just keep in mind, if you're somebody who's afraid of wildlife, or you don't know how to camp where there is wildlife around you, then this might not be the campsite for you. I also think that if you want to go there, you'll have to have a tent or something, because they are very secluded. They're in the middle of nowhere. You'll have to get there by walking, or at least the ones that I saw, you have to walk to your campsite. So those are things that you should keep in mind if you're going to go into those more environmental campsite, as they call it. Now, if you have horses, you have a specific area where you can camp, and you can also have a group area if you're going to take friends or whatever. And I think they have 6 campsites, and also they will have pipe corrals and limited parking for horse trailers. So if you are somebody who wants to take your horses there, I mean, you will enjoy it, and you'll have a specific area where you can camp and keep your horses safe. Now, dogs are permitted in this campground. State parks are a little bit particular about dogs, and it's the explanation that they give is that dogs are animals, and if you are taking them on trails or anywhere where there is wildlife, you're kind of disrupting. So it does make sense that you're not gonna be able to take the dogs on a trail, but you can take it and camp with your dogs. You just have to make sure that if you're going to sleep in a tent, they have to be inside with you, or if you're gonna have an RV, they do have to sleep inside. You can't leave them outside, and the only beach that you can take them is the one that I mentioned before, that is right across the street from the campground. Now, in the campground area, they have tables, fire pits, drinking water, and primitive toilets that are nearby. Actually, while we were there, we couldn't find water, so I don't know where is the water, but they are saying that you do have it available. So maybe if you can find the camp host, he can tell you where it is. But we actually ran out of water in our RV that night, and we didn't know, and we had to end up using water bottles because we couldn't find the water. But they do say on the website that they have drinking water, so if you're in that position and you can find a ranger, or you can find the camp host, maybe they can tell you where you can fill up your water. There are no showers or dump stations, so keep that in mind as well. If you're going tent camping, you know, those things are not available. Now, the fire pits are great, and the primitive aspect creates an outdoor family atmosphere that I do really enjoy. Around the campfire, spending time with the pets, even if they're a little bit scared of the dark as my dog was that night.
I just almost hit my eye.
Cookie.
It's okay, Lily.
Yes, nighttime is coming. It comes at night. Cookie, no, don't bite me. Minnie.
Come on.
Come here. Minnie.
Go.
My kids were doing math problems while we were at the campfire, and I just didn't know why, but they had such a fun time doing that as well. So why not? It was just a great atmosphere. There is no cell signal, so it kind of forces everyone to spend time together, and it's not that I planned, but I thought that it worked out great. The sunset, and if you get the number 34, it's beautiful. You will be able to see it from your campsite, and how the sun sets on, you know, behind the ocean, or that's the impression that it will give you. You'll get beautiful pictures. I had beautiful pictures of the RV, you know, just with the sunset. It was just beautiful. Now the weather can be pretty weird, so it may be really nice and warm during the day, but it's going to be chilly at night. So make sure that you do take layers with you, and that way you can kind of change to whatever the weather it's going to be for the day. Wildlife, it's something that you will find in Montaña de Oro State Park. There is no doubt about that. You will see wildlife because it's a very primitive area where wildlife, for some reason, feels comfortable being around humans. So maybe they've been feeding them. I don't know what the deal is, but they are not scared of humans. And I'm not talking about bears. We didn't have an encounter with bears or with any kind of big and dangerous animals. I'm talking about critters. They are not scared of people. We saw some bunnies, and we had an encounter with a family of 3 raccoons that they were waiting for us to be done with the grill because they wanted to have dinner there. And it was kind of a funny moment there because we didn't realize that they were watching us. We were sitting by the campfire, and then we realized that our dog was staring at something across the street, and across the street there is a cliff, and there is a stream in the bottom, but it's pretty steep, it's pretty, you know, high. So we're like, there's nothing there, and then we started to use some flashlights to see it, and there were 3 raccoons kind of sitting there watching us. Pretty creepy feeling. And I don't know, I felt like they were waiting for us to be done because they weren't getting close as we were there, but they just were waiting, patiently waiting for us to be done with dinner, or with, you know, making dinner.
A ver, nombrarlo un poquito más.
Ojo, ojo. Ojo.
So my husband ended up putting all the kids in the RV. He didn't want to risk it. He didn't know if they were going to be aggressive, or we'd never had that kind of encounter before, so we didn't know what to think. And it was time to go in anyway, so it wasn't like, okay, it ruined our night. We opened this window right here. We were watching it. We were eating right here. And it was amazing. The kids had a blast.
This is a documentary. Please be serious.
So, there was a dog. 6 family, and they were sitting down next to the campfire, cooking some meat. Yeah, and then they heard some noise behind.
You mean the dog heard something? Shh. Ali, you can't talk.
Why do you ruin everything?
These are very nice. So what happened? Yeah. What about the bears?
The bears, they were right behind us.
My border collie, she was really scared, so she ended up, as soon as we let her in, she ended up in the shower. She was kind of shaking.
What is going on? Cookie, why are you so scared? It's just a raccoon.
Just scared.
I don't know what's up with her, but she's scared of the dark. So that is why she ran inside. But it was funny because I did like a documentary for that moment, and every time we look back at that video, we just have so much fun, and we remember how fun it was to have that encounter. Then one of the raccoons, when we got inside, he was trying to get close to the dog that was outside.
Little baby.
He's such a good boy.
I can't see, bro.
While my husband was putting things inside the RV in the back and everything, and putting on the fire and everything. And so he was getting closer, the raccoon was getting closer, and he got in the tire, on top of the tire, the back tire. So my husband had to scare him away just to make sure that he didn't, you know, ruin anything in that area. But after that, they were gone. The next morning while we were there, we woke up to really early and enjoy more of nature and wildlife. We saw bunnies, all kinds of birds, a woodpecker, and all kinds of small animals that were not shy at all. So I told each and every one of those little animals how cute they were. I had them on film. It was just beautiful. It was an amazing experience. It was very quiet, and also the sunrise on the back of a tree that is right in front of the number 34 campsite. So it's beautiful to take pictures in the morning. You know, the birds sit on the picnic table. It was just beautiful. I really did enjoy it. It smells fresh. It smells clean. And I don't know, it was just so early that you couldn't hear anything but the birds and animals that were around us. Anyways, as I mentioned before, one of my favorite parks, period. You can do pretty much anything that you wish as far as nature, and I think that you should totally visit it. I'll have links in the description box down below to maps, to the campground map. I'll have the site where we stayed that I told you that you can see the sunset and the sunrise. I'll have everything in the description box down below if you're interested to check that out. I know this video was very long, but I hope that you enjoy it, that I helped you, and if I did, please remember to subscribe so you can watch more videos like this in the future. I have a playlist of videos that I already uploaded to the channel in the description box down below, and also up here. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you on my next one.